Hey everybody, we are the Jersey Comic Crew. In this episode, we are talking about the trailer for Wandavision. That's right, Marvel still exists. Wandavision is coming out this year in 2020. See what we have for this awesome detailed trailer right now. Hey guys, Chris and Rob here of the Jersey Comic Crew. And you know what we're talking about. We're breaking down the Wandavision trailer. It's the first Marvel, any tidbit of yummy morsel something we've had in months besides delays.
Yes.
And horrible Marvel stuff besides, like we had Chadwick Boseman pass away a couple weeks ago, still reeling from that.
Yeah.
Besides the comic books, but we haven't had any MCU news or morsel of anything because everything's so delayed. So this trailer dropped during the Emmys.
Yes.
And was immediately online everywhere. And it's very classic. I love the trailer.
My whole news feed was this trailer, images. Like, yeah. I opened my phone, I went to Instagram, and I was like, oh, the trailer. I scrolled, the trailer, picture, the trailer.
And that's how it shows you how starved we are for Marvel Cinematic Universe content, right? Where, like, it gets flooded, and that's all it is. It's like, hey, look, something's happening.
So, one thing I want to touch upon real quick before we get into the trailer, guys, Disney has confirmed that this is coming out for December 2020.
Yes.
It's coming after Mandalorian Season 2. This is coming, and it's coming soon. It's already September. And in the COVID world, you blink your eye, you're in December, it's Christmas. You're still sitting in the same spot on your couch. You rotated the pillow, and now you're watching WandaVision.
You rotate your butt seam is all in there, nice and permanent.
Nice and firm. You got your spot. But guys, this trailer, it's really cool. It doesn't reveal a lot, but at the same time, it does give us a lot of hints.
Oh yeah.
One of the biggest hints that this showed to me, we see them back in like the 50s. They have a couple over for dinner, asking them all these questions. Where did you meet? What's your history? How'd you get married? And both Wanda and Vision are trying to tell them, but they get stopped. And then one guy's slamming on the table. Tell me. This to me speaks that they're both like in a coma. Somebody from the outside is trying to talk to them to get information, and they're just stopped. They're inhibited. They're like trapped in this other plane. And I think that's obvious. We already talked about it. But just to see that visual confirmation was pretty cool.
I thought it was great. So the song that plays behind it is Twilight Time by the Platters, phenomenal 50s doo-wop group.
Oh, that's good.
Which I have their LPs and records because I'm an old man and I love that music.
Yes, Grandpa. We know.
But Twilight Time, a lot of time music tells you plot or tells you hints, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
We saw that with the Snyder Cut trailer.
Yes.
And so with Twilight Time, to me, that's kind of like the essence of what's going on here. They're in this kind of perfection. Twilight is known as, not the vampires, but it's known as the perfect time of, between day and night, where the sun's going down. It's basically like an hour and a half. It's that perfect sun-kissed golden sky air moment.
But to take that another step further, like you say, between day and night, between good and bad, like, to me, this feels like they're precariously in this perfect situation. Yeah. One wrong move could send them in one direction or another. And something that further supports my idea of that was when he goes to the car and he kind of like jolts the woman and wakes her up. And she's like, oh my God, I thought I was dead. And he's like, why? She's like, because you're dead. And I'm like, uh-oh, that means you're going toward the darkness. We need to go back to the happiness.
It's very reminiscent. I don't know if you've seen this movie. Well, probably. A lot of people have. Jim Carrey is in The Truman Show. And
that's the name of the movie?
The movie's called The Truman Show.
I've never watched it.
It's a phenomenal movie. It's mid-90s. It's basically Jim Carrey's was born and raised in this TV dome bubble. The whole town is in a bubble. Okay. And he's the only one who has no idea that he's in a bubble. And so his everyday life is filmed, and it's literally, his name is Truman, and it's a TV show. And they're producers, and so they kind of, try to naturally control his life.
Oh, that's
insane. And see how he grows up in this bubble, and he starts to catch on as an adult that, like, oh, my wife does the same kind of things, and I've never left town in my entire life, and every time he tries to leave, like, there's a traffic jam randomly, and he gets diverted. So he figures it out that he's kind of trapped in this bubble, and he has to make the choice, do I go into the real world where it's scary, or do I stay in this bubble where it's safe? And I think that's the same kind of trope we're dealing with Not only just what's happening, but what's going on in Wanda's head. And what's going on in her head is, if I stay here, I'm happy and safe.
Mm-hmm.
Vision's here. Our life is here. But if I go back into the real world, and as we're assuming this is either, like, you know, post-Endgame or between
This has to be
Infinity War and
post-Endgame.
right? Because she has to come back, that's right.
Yeah.
So, where in the real world, everything sucks, you know, Thanos destroyed most of the planet, do I deal with that, or do I stay in this safe mind space of Vision's here? And that's what we see with all the kind of comedy TV tropes, right? Kind of I Love Lucy in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And as you watch the trailer, the TV goes from the old classic gray box set and slowly starts expanding until we get to our full HD.
And then it gets colorized with the wave, which was cool.
Exactly. So we see that. We see like a Roseanne 80s, late 80s, 90s feel. You know, we see all this different kind of tropes. We see the mom from that 70s show.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Who I absolutely adore. So yeah, I'm really interested. And we obviously see Catherine Hahn a lot.
Yes.
In the character, as Rob pointed out, the witch that's, you know, the Halloween costumes.
Who do you think she is? She has to be a major character, right? Like, I just couldn't place or figure out who she was. Because I do believe that their kids are going to come into play. Like, Wiccan and Speed, I feel like will be introduced, or at least come because of
Do you think they're going to be real, or in Wanda's mind, though?
I think they're going to be real, because I feel like the West Coast Avengers and the Young Avengers is going to be a thing in the MCU. We already have, you know, Miss Marvel confirmed, and some other places. I think they could come in.
Yeah.
I don't know how prevalent they will be in this, but I feel like this other character is someone outside of that. You know?
Yeah, I think the consensus for everyone, including myself, is that Catherine Hahn's going to be Agatha Harkness. And
Who's
for
that?
those of you who don't know, she's this, you know, like Granny Goodness, who works for Darkseid in DC.
Yeah.
Kind of trains like the monsters and is way creepier than she really is.
She's like yeah, the trainer and like the mother of all like the gods or the dark
exactly
gods.
Like, and Agatha Harkness in Marvel, one, in the comics she's way older, so Catherine Hahn obviously doesn't look very old.
Mm-hmm.
But in the comics she's basically kind of like that gateway person for death. She's kind of like a Madam Web character, but solely for hell and the dead, and she's also actually a witch.
That makes a lot of sense.
Which is why she was dressed up as a witch, because Agatha Harkness can do witchcraft. She's running with Doctor Strange a bunch of times. She, you know, has made deals with like people like Dormammu.
Maybe she's how Vision comes back.
Maybe, but she is in direct correlation. Who she works for is Mephisto.
Oh.
And Mephisto is a major character who's been teased a lot in the MCU lately, specifically.
Yes.
Who is basically the devil in Marvel Comics.
He's one of the 7 Kings of Hell.
Yes. And he like usually wears a suit.
Yes.
And makes deals with people. He likes to torment Tony Stark every once in a while. He likes to go through the Marvel regular Marvel universe and cause crazy different things. You see him with Dracula a lot, dark stuff.
We see them recently in the comics too, like you said, with Dracula torturing Tony. So that kind of gets the nerdy versions of us like, oh, this could be a thing. Mephisto could come back, and Mephisto's a great entry point into all this dark, spooky side of the Marvel universe for Blade, for Ghost Rider, for Doctor Strange, and Wanda. So I would like that.
Wanda specifically. And my major theory right now is, as you know, every time a trailer comes out, my theories start going. At the moment, I can see Wanda's mind breaking down where we know she's going to be in Doctor Strange 2, right?
Yeah, we know Doctor Strange and her are going to work together and going through the multiverses, if you will.
Well, here's the thing. I think that's one of Marvel's famous tropes where they're making you believe that.
Oh.
I think Wanda's going to be the villain of Doctor Strange 2.
No, it's going to be like a House of M situation?
Yes, and I think the reason is, and I think it tells you, I think the title, The Multiverse of Madness, isn't necessarily Doctor Strange going through the multiverse to fix it. I think it's Wanda's mind. I think madness is a literal title, and it means Wanda has gone completely mad and she can't fix herself.
So Doctor Strange has to go through her mind, through all the multiverses, the multiple dimensions.
There you go.
To fix her, to bring her back, to make her all the one, because the fact that she's in this is causing chaos in the real world that's going to have repercussions, creating mutants, creating all these other things, hurting people, destroying it, reshaping the Marvel universe as a whole. Holy fuck! Did we just solve the puzzle?
Oh, first of all, how dare you business tycoon me and say we after that was mine? After that was my theory, and you said, "Wow, we fixed it. We totally realized it."
You say whatever you need to say. We did it, Mauisimos. Dora does all the work, and she says we. You can share. I went on the tangent afterwards. I figured out what you put down.
Yeah. He went on a tangent after the buttons clicked the right way. After
you clicked the 3 buttons, and I'm like, oh, that's how we get mutants, because she's losing her mind. Doctor Strange is going there trying to fix it. Oh my god! And then this, and then they could redo the whole Chadwick Boseman thing. They can do whatever they want. They can have Fantastic Four. Oh my god!
Yeah, but so and entitled.
This is their Flashpoint.
This is kind of like their Flashpoint, where instead of fixing everything that's going on, it's shifting focus to the new characters and the possibilities of the new teams like X-Men, like Fantastic Four, and kind of saying, all right, this closes out the old guys. This is our focus now. And I think a lot of that, what we're seeing, which is another shot of this awesome trailer, is we see adult Monica Rambeau kind of fly in.
Right? Yeah, that was
and
her.
You see it kind of like, almost like the sky, like kind of like Truman Show, but not with the same tech, is almost like a TV screen. It almost looks like she enters the TV scape and is like flown through, and she's an adult in whatever the reality is of Wanda's mind, if not Wanda trying to connect to Vision, who is dead. Do we think Vision is going to be rebuilt? I don't know. I can totally see it happening. But there's no Mind Stone right now. So how does that...
She's strong enough that she could create something for him.
She does. Her power is reality, right? Like, she can make her own reality, and I think that's going to be part of her mental degradation, but I don't know how far we're going to go into...
What?
Again, if it's episodic, you have more time.
What if it's, like, she's trying to, the show starts out, we find out that she's trying to recreate a Mind Stone, if you will, or something to that effect for Vision, and because she uses her powers in this way that she has it before, she can't really control it. This causes her to go into the madness. This causes her to freak out.
100%. I can see.
And Vision and her are intertwined because, like, he's a real consciousness again. Like, she brought it back, but she's broken and she can't fix it. And we're seeing it play out, and then it bleeds into Doctor Strange saying, "Okay, she can't help herself. You need to go in there."
I can totally see that happening too. I think there's a lot of possibilities, especially if they're clearly doing this kind of like, hey, this is going to be kind of, again, mental stuff can be like literal at the same time, right? A lot of people who have, and this is turning a page, but a lot of people have depression and anxiety and all these other things. They hide it by being funny, or they hide it by, looking fine on the outside, but there's stuff going on.
Yeah, like growing an amazing beard. Yeah, I know.
Like growing an amazing beard, or being a hilarious, like, goofball. But the other side
He
is...
just pointed me out twice. I feel like... all right. No need to friggin' lay it on.
Yeah. Listen, I know I'm famous, but Jesus. So, like, the other aspect is the reason they're going through these decades is... As TV tropes is, look, everything is fine in Ba Sing Se. There's nothing wrong in Ba Sing Se. And it's the same trope of, like, look at all this stuff, this entertaining stuff, how funny it is, but if you really knew what was going on underneath, the whole thing shifts. So, like, I think one of it's going to be Wanda has to realize that she can't live in this scape forever, or she has to wake up and realize it's not real. And I think that's why also Agatha Harkness is there to kind of watch to see with popcorn to see the degradation continue and kind of report back to Mephisto if Mephisto is going to be in this, which would be awesome, which could also connect him to Doctor Strange.
I don't think we're going to see Mephisto. If we might see mention of him, but I don't think we're going to get to that level.
I think if we see him, it's the teaser at the end of the last episode that becomes the teaser for, like, something with Doctor Strange 2. I think that would be it, because if you're Doctor Strange, right? Like, and I know this is, not so much the trailer, but if you're Doctor Strange, you got to deal with Baron Mordo next movie, Wanda Maximoff, and whatever else they're going to throw into this, Multiverse of Madness. Even if it's in her mind, let's say, and not actually a multiverse, if it's in her brain and it becomes the multiverse, and if let's say they introduce Fantastic Four, X-Men, that's a lot to deal with in a movie. So if I were them, I'd be like, hey, we got let's say this show is going to be 8 to 10 episodes. That's 8 to 10 hours of content. We can totally have a 30-second, 1.5-minute tease of Mephisto.
Yeah, you can.
Not have him maybe in the background the whole time and have the climax be that final episode.
Well, guys, that is our review of the WandaVision teaser trailer. As you can see, we went a little crazy. We want to hear all of your theories down in the comments below. What do you think we're going to see? Do you think we're going to see some new characters? What are your theories of this movie playing into Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Let us know. As always, I'm Rob Moran.
I'm Chris Heller.
And we will see you next time.
Check us out on youtube.com. for Jersey Comic Crew, and make sure you like and subscribe, comments below, and ring that bell for notifications.